Windows that I mentioned on More the Buzz that are illegally in here are the ones that you've seen already, and there are many more around, okay? They were not here before 2004. I don't know until when. Government always decides when they do things. I don't know. So, señores, I said inside it's illegal, outside it's legal. You just consider what I said, okay? Bueno, and remember the buildings we cannot climb in since January 5th of 2006, okay? Señores, Chichen Itza, what does it mean? Chi in Maya, chi means mouth or edge. Chen, well, the sinkhole. Itza is the name of the family that was controlling. The last name of a lineage, a clan, a house. And it has a very special meaning. Itza, it's like saying in English, wizards of water or magicians of water. See? So Chichen Itza, in the mouth or the edge of the well of the Itza family or the magicians of the water. Why that name? At the area, there are lots of sinkholes that were used for domestic purposes, but it's specifically talking, there was one that was and still today considered sacred, where the legend says the Virgin Women were thrown. It is also known as the sacrificial well. That's the one that gives the name to the site. Okay? The site was built, occupied mainly between the 3 to the 1200s, but it has two special moments. It seems to be that around 850s, Mayas from the area met another culture known as Toltecs or Toltecas. So, in a general way, let's say, everything built by before the 900s, it was built by the Mayas before they met the Toltecs. See? Everything they built after that was built with a Toltec influence. And actually, where we are standing now, this was built between the 9 to the 1200s. So this is considered the Mayan Toltec section of Chichen Itza. 1200s, Chichen Itza was completely abandoned. Jungle took over. Spaniards crossed by 1531. Thanks God they did not decide to stay. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here working as a tour guide.
They would have torn it apart, right?
Yeah, they just passed by. They saw it, everybody knew about it. This place was not forgotten, or let's say like that, or it was not discovered by accident or thanks to satellites. People knew about it, but not the rest of the world. 1839, two persons came to the area. John Lloyd Stevens from New Jersey and Mr. Frederick Cathwood. Mr. Stevens, he was a lawyer, a writer, and he's the guy who made the book, Incidents of Traveling in Yucatan. Archaeology was not archaeology at those times. So I cannot recommend that as an archaeological book, but I do recommend the book as a very nice historical novel. It will take you back in time. He came with a guy from England, Mr. Catherwood. Mr. Catherwood was an engineer, was an artist, and he went to, before he came here, to other places like Egypt. So he was able to compare the architecture. He said, whenever we travel different parts of the world, we may find similarities, as we do here, but the similarities we find here are not enough to consider it was built by Romans, Phoenicians, or Egyptians. Whoever built this was a complete independent culture. Okay? Book, very good, I insist. Became like a bestseller back then. But many people who bought it were basically plunderers. There's no other word. They were plunderers, see, that came here and other archaeological sites in the peninsula looking for treasures. It's until 1924 when the Carnegie Institution was invited by the Mexican government and the first serious professional project of restoration and investigation. After them, other projects. Another one, important one, in 1960s, Tulane University was working here. And another one, very important, 1990s, the University of Bonn had a very special budget, and they sent money and archaeologists to work here. Actually, Mr. Peter Schmidt, that was originally sent by the University of Bonn, see, when the money ended, he spoke with the Mexican government and he remained here at Chichen Itza. So Mr. Peter Schmidt has been working at Chichen Itza the last 25 years of his life, and he knows a lot, okay? They have done lots of work, but please hear this. In size, 15 square miles. That's about 26 square kilometers. From small platforms to major buildings, 2,500. Okay? 2,500. Buildings.
Wow.
Hear this, por favor. Between 10, or let's say between 10 to 20, no more than 20% of the site has been restored. 80% of the site remains overgrown, covered by jungle. And I insist, you see the walls now standing but they have done work. Our archaeologists have work here. So I'm going to show you a picture later for you to have a good idea of how much archaeologists have to work for us to see what we see today. 15 square miles, 2,500 buildings, built between the 3 to the 1200s. That seems to be important. But I'm going to ask you, señores, I'm going to mention. In size, there are other Mayan cities bigger than Chichen Itza. In time, there are other Mayan cities older than Chichen Itza. And when it comes to architecture beauty, not that far from here, I could show you Mayan cities that have exquisite architecture style. So I may say there are other Mayan cities prettier than Chichen Itza. So if Chichen Itza, it's not that old, and it's not that big, and it's not that beautiful, I ask you, do you have any idea why Chichen Itza is so famous? Huh?
Somebody dug it up and said,
Yeah, but
give us money.
why specifically? Sacrifices, well, yeah. Besides sacrifices. And don't mention Cancun because that's another reason. Archaeological reason. Why Chichen Itza so famous? Come on. Why the Mayas are so famous? More than buzz, you said it.
Calendar?
The calendar. Señores, when it comes to the calendar, we have to talk about astronomy, right? And when it comes to astronomy, we have to say, and this is proven, I don't say that as a Mexican or just because I'm Mexican. It's proven. It's proven, okay? It's proven that at the moment of the Spanish arrival, Maya calendar was much more accurate than the European calendar. It is not that the Maya knew about Venus, perfectly knew about the synodic cycle of Venus. They knew about Mars, Jupiter. They knew about comets. There's only 3 Mayan books survived the conquest. Officially, 3 Mayan books survived the conquest. The one that is today in Dresden, Germany, the professionals have discovered like a tablet that shows how eclipses repeat. And they say, see, that if this tablet has an error, it's no more than 1 day every 100 years. So when it comes to astronomy, yes, Maya is very advanced, very famous. One more thing I like to mention always as an example. How many of you, please, have heard that the Maya calendar has an ending? Ending? Maya calendar? Yes. You know when?
Really close.
Yeah, close, but when? In 3 days? Señores, December 23rd of 2012.
So close.
December 23rd of 2012. I know when I say something like that, and it had happened in a human life many times, human history, people, they talk about religious reasons of the ending of something, right? Catastrophes, cataclysms, the new coming of a Messiah. Well, I don't know. I have a friend who's very into aliens. He really believes that aliens will come that day. I mean, there are many things when it comes to someone saying Maya has a ending, the calendar ending. Oops, what's going to happen? See this. There are many interpretations, but there is a scientific archaeological interpretation or explanation. Why? Maya's 0 date was not a human event like for us, the birth of Christ, or allow me to say, the arrival of Mahoma into the city of Medina for the Muslims, okay? For the Maya, it was an astronomical event. There was a moment when the Mayas were able to study the future of the celestial bodies and the past, that they realized there was a moment on the past that there was an alignment involving Sun, Venus, Earth in relation with the Milky Way. And they registered that as their 0 date. Their 0 for them. Today, we know when was it? August 13 of the year 3114 BC. Guess what? We all know that celestial bodies rotate. So eventually that event will repeat again. When? I just said it. 2012. Señores, if the world's going to end, if the aliens are going to come here or not, I don't know. 2 years before that, I'm going to sell everything I have, start traveling. But hear this, please. In archaeological terms, see, scientific, it is proven that the Mayas knew about this astronomical event more than 1,500 years ago, and they were not wrong. Huh? So we are indeed talking about a civilization that was very advanced. And that's why Chichen Itza is so famous. Not just one building. Practically all the buildings here at Chichen Itza, like in many other archaeological sites, has astronomical alignments. See? Bueno, first of all, Maya calendar, Maya had many calendars because they had many celestial bodies, right? But their calendar was divided on 18 months of 20 days, plus another month of 5 days. Then they had another calendar of 260 days. If you combine both, the 365 day and 260, and you put them